Modern Warfare 2 DMZ Season 4 is going to be massive. This is probably going to be the biggest season for DMZ we've had yet. Today, they just released a new blog post going over all the new features coming to DMZ. As always, we're going to cover this in a rapid style video that we can quickly watch this and get right back into game with no waste of time. If you want to see any more videos like this in the future, make sure to unlock that subscribe button. Now, moving into the blog post, new DMZ content coming to Season 4. We're excited to introduce a number of new updates this season, including a revamp of the DMZ menus for improved navigation and additional brand new features. The new DMZ menu will contain the following areas: mission objectives, this is your mission select; location objectives, this is your map challenges; forward operating base, this is your upgrade objectives; notes, this is your collection. Now let's break down what these are, starting with the forward operating base. Consider the forward operating base, FOB, a central hub for DMZ. Here, operators will complete objectives to unlock upgrades across DMZ. Unlike faction missions in previous DMZ seasons, the FOB upgrade objectives are passive and do not require players to equip them to make progress, meaning you don't equip these missions. These aren't missions that you have to have selected. They're just always going to be there, and if you happen to do the objective in any game of DMZ you play, you're going to complete it and you're going to unlock the upgrade. The FOB is divided into 4 categories of upgrades. First, we have the weapons locker. This is going to allow you to unlock insured weapon slots. It's going to allow you to get insured weapon cooldown time. They don't really describe what this means, but I assume you're going to be able to do challenges and it's going to lower the total amount of insured weapon cooldown time you have. And I don't think it's going to be a one-time thing. I think once you do this, you might be able to take 15 minutes off your insured weapon cooldown time permanently, and you can keep doing it and keep lowering it, but we'll just have to wait and see when this update actually comes out. Contraband weapon stash size increases, so you're going to be able to increase the total amount of contraband you're able to stow. Then we've got the stash category. This is going to allow you to unlock the wallet, which we'll talk about that in just a second. It's going to allow you to increase the wallet capacity. It's also going to allow you to increase your key and contraband weapon stash sizes. Then we've got the bounty board. This just says personal exfil, so I'm guessing you now have to unlock the personal exfil, or maybe you'll be able to lower the price. Barter recipes, so yes, you can now unlock barter recipes. I don't know if they took some away from the original ones that were in the game. You might now have to unlock the option to make a secure bag, skeleton keys, but once again, we're not going to get the full context of this till the update comes out. Then you're going to be able to get buy station discounts, which is super cool. So now things are going to be able to be cheaper in the buy stations. Then for the final section, there's the communication station. This is going to get you urgent mission access, which we'll talk about in just a little bit. They gave us this menu image to show us what's going on. So this is in the forward operating base. You've got the upgrades tab. Once you click on it, it's going to take you here. This challenge is going to unlock the wallet. Then you have the stash expansion. And if you click on show stages, it's going to show you the same thing down here where you've got all these different stages. Each one of these is going to make your stash bigger and bigger. I'm a little bit confused here because this has crown at the end of it, which I thought these were not tied with a faction, but we'll have to wait and see exactly fully what's going on with that. We believe the new upgrade infrastructure will eliminate the friction we felt between operators and high tier mission objectives. For example, instead of faction mission progress, insured weapon slots can now be unlocked through passive objectives in the FOB. This change will allow players to progress through DMZ more efficiently than in previous seasons. Faction missions are still available in the mission objectives menu and are important for getting faction reputation. Then we have the new type of faction mission called Urgent Missions. These are limited time and they're going to rotate out daily. You're going to have one for each faction, and completing it is going to get you faction reputation. Next, we have the new DMZ Wallet, and this is one of the biggest features coming with this update. Yes, you are going to be able to take cash out of DMZ when you exfil. So if you have $3 grand on you when you exfil, you're going to be able to take that and put it in this wallet. You can just save it there and store it, or you can take it with you to the next game. So when you spawn in, you're going to have 3K or however much you have saved up. It looks like the menu's pretty cool. There's options here to go down 1,000, up 1,000, minus 10,000, plus 10,000. So you can kind of get exactly how much you want. It looks like there's a limit of 100,000. I don't know if that's the default wallet or if that's what it is once you've max upgraded. You're not going to be able to just store unlimited amount of cash. There is a cap to it, and you do have to unlock this feature. By default, you're not going to have the wallet. You're going to have to unlock this in the forward operating base. But once you unlock it, you're going to be able to use this feature, which I think is going to shake up the meta for DMZ. Then they talk about how all the faction missions and your progress are getting reset with this update. There's a new map coming called Vondal with this update, and the same thing happened when they added Ashika Island. They're resetting all the faction missions. That way they can kind of make a bunch of missions based around all the different maps. We're probably going to have a ton of them for the new maps. That's why they're resetting. And there's probably going to be new rewards you're going to be able to earn, like different blue blueprints, different operator skins, stickers, calling cards, all that stuff. Meaning you've only got a couple days left to get the rewards from this season before they go away forever. Next, they talk about the new map Vondal. It's going to have a weapons case and a new boss, and they even tease the new boss here. Prepare to strike with speed if you're seeking the Bullfrog. They've already told us this new boss is going to be a vehicle, but they say we've got to strike with speed, so I'm assuming this is going to be a vehicle that's moving around the map that you're going to have to explode. That's just a theory, but this might be a boss fight like we haven't seen before in DMZ. It might be just a little bit more wonky. They even tell us how many players are going to be on the map. There's going to be 18 total operators or 6 total squads. That's the same amount of teams that are on Ashika Island, and this map is bigger than Ashika Island. So the teams are going to be more spread out, which is going to lead to less PvP than what you see on Ashika Island. There's also a new contract that's exclusive to this map called Signal Intelligence. Operators will hack phones to gain access to cash rewards from other contracts in the area. DMZ is finally getting dynamic fog. However, it's only for the brand new map, meaning sometimes when you play the game, there's going to be a lot of fog. Other times it's going to be cleared up, and it might go back and forth in the game. It might start off really foggy, then get cleared, or it might stay clear, might stay foggy, meaning you're going to have a lot of different variations when you're playing the new map, and you're going to have to adjust to your circumstances. Yes, they're adding another new faction into DMZ, but this doesn't mean that there's going to be 6 factions at launch, because this one is replacing the Redacted faction. When Season 4 launches, Redacted is no longer going to be a faction in DMZ. They have mysteriously disappeared. Next, they talk about the new faction reputation system and what it's going to be used for. So in previous seasons, to unlock the story mission, you had to do all but one of the previous missions. So if you want to do this mission down here, you had to do all but one of these. You were able to skip just one of them. Now, to unlock this final one, you have to get a certain amount of faction reputation, meaning you could technically skip more than one if you're able to get enough reputation. And remember, you are able to earn faction reputation from doing those urgent daily missions. So if you just do the daily mission every single day, you could potentially skip all of these missions here and just do the story mission. And normally the story mission are the only missions that give you the blueprints and the operator skins. So these are the most important ones. And this means that going back and doing the previous missions you've skipped are also worth doing now, because all of these missions are going to give you faction reputation. So even if you're on tier 5 and you're trying to do that final mission, it might be worth going back and doing the tier 3 missions for a faction, because that is going to give you reputation and might help you unlock that last story mission and potentially skip out on some of those harder missions. So I like this system here. It is a little bit confusing, but overall it's going to give you more flexibility on what missions you want to do and what missions you don't want to do. I kind of hope they add more things that faction reputation is going to be used for in the future. I'd like to see maybe some stuff in game that you could do, maybe special areas, other stuff along those lines. And another thing I noticed from this image, you can see here that yes, the Redacted faction is gone, but I also don't see Legion. I haven't seen anywhere on this blog post stating that the Legion faction was removed. Maybe it's just over to the left and we can't see it, but from this image, it looks like the only factions in the game are Black Mouse, White Lotus, the new one, and Crown. But I think Legion's still here. I just don't know why we don't see it on the image. I think it might be a little bit over to the left. Then they once again talk about the DMZ reset. However, they still didn't answer the questions we have. So we know the contraband weapon inventories are getting reset. Your keys and mission inventories are getting reset. Your faction mission progress is getting reset. And all of your insured weapon slots are getting reset. Any of the permanent items you've got, like blueprints and operator skins, those are staying, but they don't talk about the active duty slots. We still don't know if the stuff you have in your active duty slots, like your armor plates, your gas masks, your kill streaks, they don't talk about if that's getting reset. And they also don't talk about your exfil streaks. Right now, we don't know. When you launch Season 4, if you have an active duty slot that's on a 10 exfil streak, you might be able to keep it, or you might not. That is the only thing out of everything here that's not been covered. Then they talk about looking ahead. As we look into future seasons of DMZ in the ongoing beta, we have many exciting as well as redacted content ahead. Thank you for playing, and we hope to see you on Vondal soon. So that is everything they talked about here. Not a ton of new information, but they did go into a deeper dive about the stuff they've already talked about. We got additional information on the faction reputation system. We learned that they're removing one of the factions and a bunch of other stuff like that. If you guys want to stay fully up to date with anything happening in DMZ or Modern Warfare 2, make sure to unlock that subscribe button and let me know out of everything that's coming with this new season what you're most excited for.